What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of the OneFourthCareers podcast. I'm your host, Xavier, and I'm here with Vic. Vic graduated from AlabamaA&Muniversity with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering in 2018. Upon graduation, Vic commissioned as an officer in the U.S. Army. A few years later, after graduation, Vic became a licensed realtor in Alabama in 2020 and Georgia in 2023. Now, Vic works for the Department of Defense as an electronics engineer. Vic is also serving in the National Guard while working as a part-time realtor. Vic, bro, that was a mouthful, my brother. Yo, everybody needs some water.
Need some water.
Help them. All the credentials.
The credentials. Got the whole resume up there.
Yeah, man. Bro, I appreciate you coming to the pod, man. You know I needed to get you on, bro.
For sure. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. How the summer treating you? You down in the South?
Well, it's hot. It's hot. It's like 100 degrees a day.
Crazy. I know you was in with the AC.
Had to be, bro. I had to get about the heat.
Nah, for sure, bro. Nah, man. Like I said, bro, I appreciate you coming on, man, and really excited to talk to you just because, you know what I'm saying? I know you well. You my check man. Shout out to EKT, man. Yeah, shout out to EKT. That's Eta Capital, Engineering Technology Turning Incorporated, Alpha Chapter. That boat. Shout out to y'all, man. Much love, man. But yeah, bro. So I already know you, man. It's been a minute since I seen you. You know, you pulled up to the wedding, so appreciate that. But yeah, man, you're doing a lot, bro. And I don't think I really expected it after you graduated, or you know what I'm saying, after we both kind of left from A&M. You were doing a lot in undergrad, but to see that sustained full time, I'm like, what is this guy doing? So, man, I need you to run me and the viewers through your background. You know, what's really important for us to know with the context of where you currently are.
Okay, so I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, 205. Shout out to my city. Just grew up there, born and raised, moved to Huntsville, of course, for school, Alabama A&M, of course. And then, just did the whole college thing. Everything was smooth, had a great time. And everything is just kind of developed from there, man.
Yeah. For sure, man. Cool. Well, I appreciate that, but I kind of want to do like the first little segment we got here, bro. First segment is called Step Back. You know, when you're doing that tween, going crazy, bro. I want to pull a step back right now. So understanding where you currently are, the few roles you're in, what did you want to be initially when you were younger?
Man, it's crazy because nothing I'm doing right now is what I wanted to do originally.
Okay.
So, growing up, I always wanted to be a surgeon, right? So I wanted to be a doctor. Then I was like, okay, I want to be a surgeon. Didn't know which type specifically. But, as you get older, you actually start learning more about different career paths. And I was like, man, I don't want to be in school that long. Man. So I'm like, yeah. And then, just growing up too, I was always in the video games and kind of just like taking stuff apart, figuring out how stuff works. So that kind of, segued into the engineering, side.
Yeah. Nah, that's crazy. And I think that's really affirming for a lot of people where you want to be one thing when you're younger, but just understanding how life evolves and changes, and even being what you are now, who knows how much things could change in terms of the roles. So I think it's really beautiful when like our young people and when us and others are able to embrace that. Because I know sometimes you may feel a little anxiety behind it, or, oh my God, I don't know what I want to be. I know that was me for sure, just because I was kind of just one of those worry warts, if you will, like being younger, like starting in college more so. I wasn't really thinking about it as much when I was younger. I was still holding on to some football dreams, which is wild.
Yeah. Hey, you never know.
You feel me? But yeah, so I think that was me as well, where I had a lot of anxiety and a lot of like fear around, oh my God, some people know what they want to do, but I have no idea. Like I'm behind, like I'm failing. So I definitely kind of learned a little bit of kind of what you touched on just when you referenced your story of wanting to be one thing, but you're doing something totally different now and super successful, which we'll get into some more, man. So I'm curious, how are you doing these three different roles? Like, what is it like managing all that? And then also if you can share a little insight into what each one of these roles actually entail.
Okay, so it's super busy to start off with.
Yeah.
Super busy. So the key to everything really is time management, right?
Yeah.
So that's also important in school. You know, we go to college and everything, taking so many classes and you know extracurriculars. You know, you only have so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
So definitely time management. So it's a lot. So let's see. Start off with electrical engineering, right? That's my basis. So I currently work for the DoD as an electronics engineer by job title. I currently work for DoD AIMS. So I started off 2021. I moved to Georgia from Huntsville, and I came out here to work a job as a test engineer.
Okay.
So first time ever doing a test engineer role. I didn't really know exactly what all was entailed, but you know, I kind of just got in there and just learned. A lot of jobs, you know, professional level, corporate level, a lot of it oftentimes is on the job training anyway. You just have to have the credentials to get you put in the door.
For sure.
And then, you know, you just learn from there. So did the test engineering. And within that same first year of me starting the job, I was promoted over to the government side.
Hey.
DoD.
Okay.
So the way I got that, just timing really, and background and credentials. So at that time, I already had, you know, prior work experience.
Had them clearances.
Got the clearances.
Yeah.
And had the degree, which was actually important because, you know, a lot of times going into a professional career, a lot of times it's just, oh, you just have to have a degree or you just have to have something on paper. But in this instance, that actually played a role and, you know, as a qualification for me to get the role. So it was a direct hire spot. So I was like one of the only people in the office that met all the requirements for that position.
Wow. Not surprised.
Yeah,
Not
For
sure.
Yeah, so that's what I do now. Starting back with the military, so I'll go to that background.
Okay.
So I have a lot of family in the military, my uncles, cousins, grandparents, things like that. So I kind of grew up a little bit, you know, around that. And so what motivated me to join the military, which is also crazy because I was like, hey, man, I'm never gonna do that, man. You know, I watch all the movies, play Call of Duty. I'm like, yeah, I ain't finna go out there. Man, I'm good on that. I'm good. But what motivated me to kind of join was, you know, just seeing how my uncle was living. You know, my uncle was living nice crib, you know, a lot of cars, a lot of nice stuff. So I'm like, shoot, I want that too, you know. And then also being in college, you know, times are great, but you know, everybody going through the struggle. Struggle is real, you know, and I got tired of asking my folks for money because I know, you know, college just paying for everything is a lot. So I wanted to make my own way. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me sit down and actually take this serious. So it took me, no lie, like 3 months to make the decision to say, okay, I'm going to do this. So I did the research, went on YouTube, talked to a recruiter, all that good stuff like that.
Wow.
Talked to my uncle.
Yeah,
just, you know, making sure I'm understanding what I'm getting into because, you know, somebody will tell you something is, you know, like this when it's really a whole nother, you know, way. And I would rather ask somebody that's been doing it for a long time. It can be like, hey, this is what you're about to get into.
Yeah.
So did that. Start off enlisted actually. 2014, February 27, 2014 is when I joined the military. So went in and I actually did IT, which was like the closest, you know, related thing to my degree because I want to kind of keep it similar or in the same general field. So I did that, and I've been in the National Guard ever since.
Wow. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. You did your due diligence, which, I mean, being like a younger person, for you to do as much research as you did, for it to take you 3 months, I think that was a good thing. Like, you really gave some thought to it to be really intentional, bro. And I think that's something that a lot of people should, it's okay to do. It's okay to take your time to make decisions if you can afford it. You know, like if you can, if you're not rushed or pressured to make a decision ASAP, like taking your time to really think through what you want, your goals, you know, what your motivation is and stuff like that, it really can pay off. I think I heard someone say it's better to measure twice and cut once versus like rush into something, right? Nah, that's cool. So tell me a little bit about kind of the real estate world then.
Yeah. So real estate, bro, real estate was definitely a wild card.
Crazy.
So this was post-college, post-graduation, right? So I ended up actually getting my first job in my field, you know, a few months after college. So worked that, corporate world. Not gonna, say any, company names or anything like that. But
Yeah.
got to my first, engineering role, and jumped into the corporate world. So I worked that for like 2 years. So I'm like, okay, cool, getting a feel for everything. And honestly, me personally, the whole corporate, corporate office, corporate world, and politics and stuff like that wasn't really my thing. I wasn't really feeling it, And at the time, I'm like, okay, well, I want to, do my own thing, start my own business, doing something. Didn't know exactly what, but I knew I wanted to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I just started researching, going on YouTube, looking up different, businesses, things like that. And real estate ended up being one of them. I'm trying to remember exactly how I ended up picking that or how I even made the list. But
It
just
found you.
researching.
It chose you.
Yeah, it chose me. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So at the time, what pushed me into real estate was me and my friend were looking to buy a house at the time. And so one of her sorority sisters was actually a realtor in the area in Huntsville. So she helped me set up a consultation, went there, asked a bunch of questions and everything like, hey, so I ended up asking her like, hey, how did you get into real estate? Because I knew, okay, made my list, got my options and stuff I want to do. This is one of them. I got the opportunity to ask someone in the field that has experience, already.
Mm-hmm.
So I just took that as an opportunity as well to just ask. So she explained everything to me like, hey, you got to go get your license, find a school, someone that teaches the classes, take the test, get your license, and then you just go from there, pick a brokerage, and then boom. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that doesn't sound like too bad of a process. So did some more research, right? Looked up some schools and things like that, and she actually gave me a recommendation for one of the local schools. So I'm like, okay, cool. I looked it up, tried to make sure, see what was what, and I ended up just going with it, bro. I was like, hey, let me go ahead and do this. So I did my school, took my test. It took me 3 times to pass. Now I'm not ashamed to say that, the test is one of those tests where it's like you don't know what you're gonna get until you open up, until you get there and you get what you get. So again, you gotta be consistent, and if you really want something, you gotta keep trying, keep doing it until you do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it took me 3 times, right? I didn't give up the first time. The second time, I missed it by like 2 or 3 points, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna run it back.
Yeah, run it back. Run it back.
Back.
Hey, nothing but a story of perseverance and just drive, man. When you trying to get stuff done, it's okay. Like it's okay to fail. Failing is just on your way to winning. So I think that's really cool, and I appreciate you sharing that.
No problem, man. And my motto, man, it's not live by too, is nothing worth having comes easy. You gotta keep trying. You gotta go hard, log in, and just get it done. Whatever you want to do, you can do it.
Nah, that's facts, bro. So across these 3 different areas of how you spend your time professionally, what are some skills that are really useful for you to succeed across all 3 areas, or if you want to call out any individually?
I'll just go across the 3. Really, one is networking for sure. It's definitely sometimes comes down to who not what you know.
Yeah.
But you also have to be able to communicate and just not be afraid to ask questions or like, hey, this is my goal. How do I get there? Always, communicate and ask. Just with the, professional being an engineer, it's pretty much just being able to learn and being willing to learn. You gotta realize, hey, I don't know everything. Let me talk to somebody that's been here before. Be willing to receive the information, the knowledge, the advice, and then apply yourself, make a plan and apply yourself and get it done. With real estate, it is a business. Whether you do it full-time or part-time, it is a business. So in the nature of real estate, it's definitely a network-based or a social-based business. So you have to get out there, talk to people, network, build your clientele. So definitely networking. And I know a lot of people oftentimes, aren't social, or, you might be more of an introvert, not like to be around, people, too much, things like that. But definitely one of those is networking. With the military, that's pretty much, you just have to want to do it.
Yeah.
You have to want to do it.
You got to be committed.
You got to be committed, because once you sign your life away, it's over.
Yeah. Nah, that's valid. That's valid, bro.
Yeah, but I would say too, just across the board, across all three, engineering, real estate, and military, just have a goal or more than one goal for whatever you do. You can be like, hey, I'm gonna go to the military. I'm gonna do 2, 3, 4 years, however. Okay, cool. You don't have to make it a whole lifetime career, but in that set amount of time, make sure you set your goals and be like, hey, I want to do X, Y, Z by the time I get out.
Yeah. No, I love that. So across all those roles, are any of those 3 roles easier to pivot into or more feasible to just pick up when you want? Or if you are, let's say you're already in your career and you want to try any of the 3 things out that you're doing right now, are any of them like compatible for people who want to pivot into it?
Yes, I would say they are. Everything is compatible. So between being an engineer, right, and being in the military, just for example, those two kind of pivot off of each other, because oftentimes, being in the military or being a service member, a lot of those companies that are corporate oftentimes do military support or military contracting. So if you're already a service member, right, you're already in, you kind of get the gist to already understand, all the details. And it's like, okay, hey, I'm going to this job, might work, apply for this position, right? Somebody in that company more than likely has been in or is retired military. So they'll see, hey, I see on your resume, you're in the military or you're in the service. We do warfighter, support or warfighter contracting. I feel like that would, that alone is a good bridge, and it helps you out between pivoting from military or balancing military as well with the corporate position, because oftentimes they do support you going, like if you're part-time, for example, like me, going to drill or, whatever duty, if you get, orders or whatever, they're good with that. They're not going to lay you off or anything like that. They understand how it goes.
Yeah. Cool.
As far as real estate goes, so I feel like you can pivot into that as well, because there are no prerequisites. Like you don't have to have any degrees or certifications, experience, anything like that specifically prior to. If you just want to, hey, I want to do it, you can just go do it.
Okay. No, that's good to know. That's good for the people to know. I got a homeboy who I might have on as well who decided to pivot into real estate. And I think that was a pretty seamless experience outside of kind of what you mentioned of, it does take work and it takes passing the test and classroom and things like that. But I think it's really helpful for people to know that, college may not always be the answer for some folks. So understanding that there are additional career paths they can go down, I think is really helpful. And also knowing that there may not be as much of an age criteria either. If people are working age adults and you're still trying to pivot and you're still searching for what you want to do, there are options for you. So hopefully, all the things that Vic mentioned are some type of value add. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this, or someone who needs to get some of the gems that Vic just dropped, man, share the pod with them. Let them know while we got them. So I appreciate you touching on that, man. So now what I'm curious about is if you could go back to undergrad and you could give yourself advice that would better prepare you for all 3 of the roles you're in, one in particular, any combination of such, what would that advice look like that you would give yourself in undergrad?
Man, going back to undergrad to now.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago now. Come on.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Feel like it.
It feel like it,
yeah.
Let me see. If I could give myself advice going back to undergrad, I would say definitely stay consistent, right? Don't be afraid to try something new, right? Because one thing may not fit the mold, right? And 3, really just go hard, give it your all, do your best. As long as you do your best, you won't have any regrets.
Sound like some stuff that you're doing to this day. So
yeah.
I like that. No, I like that. Definitely be consistent and being a little bit fearless, understanding that, like you said, you try something out, you're on the journey, you're on the marathon. This is
Definitely. It's a
an
marathon, not a
exploration.
race.
Exactly. This is exploration, man. Like, this is for you, everyone, to be on your own adventure in life. There's nothing more precious than your own life. So I hope that everybody listening feels that way, or you have somebody tell you that as you figure things out each day, it's beautiful. Times will definitely be hard. You'll face adversity, but you'll also have beautiful moments of success. I'll say it to everyone, and obviously to you, Vic. And I know you do this because you got people around you who will also, push you to do this, but celebrate every small step you can. Like, life is hard. This world is crazy, geopolitics and everything going on, man. Like, every day we wake up with breath in our body to be able to get better in some department. And it doesn't even have to be work. Like, it could be personal, just, any of the things, man. Like, it's definitely important to continue to kind of explore and just embrace the journey, so you can hopefully have a better career planning experience, a better experience with finding your passion and finding professional clarity. Because I, from personal experience, I feel that process was hindered a little bit by the anxiety, or it became less enjoyable of being able to think about what you want to do. And I think, from my experience, you have better results and a better experience when you're embracing it as an adventure. You're embracing it as, I'm excited to figure out what I want to do or take some steps forward. And it really helps get the creative juices flowing and all those things, man. So I think that's some really good advice that, I think a lot of young people need, a lot of older people need, everyone really needs to kind of keep in mind. So I appreciate you sharing that, man. So
No problem. One thing real quick.
Yeah.
Just hit my mind. So I wanted to speak on, the younger, crowd, or just not even, age restricted, just if you don't have everything figured out group. So it's easier said than done when you already have something going, like you're already working a corporate job, 9 to 5, you're already in college doing your thing.
Yep.
So if you don't have it figured out right, I know it's a very anxious, time, and you just like all over the place. Like, what do I do? I would say definitely take your time and do your research and really think about what is it that I want to do, right? And there's no cookie cutter. You don't have to do, be an engineer or be a doctor or, whatever. You can do whatever it is you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just take the time to, do research, figure out, hey, I want to go be a makeup artist or whatever, right? Figure out what goes into that. What do you need to do? How much money do you need to start? Just different things like that, different techniques. Find some people online to kind of just learn off of. Don't be afraid, or don't feel like you don't have enough time to figure it out, because you do.
Man, that's so powerful, bro, because you really kind of sparked a couple things. One, you mentioned like looking online, the technology we got these days,
AI going crazy.
YouTube, this channel, LinkedIn, even whether you're introverted, extroverted, like, there are resources for you to maybe get a glimpse of what your options look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is really helpful. And definitely talking to people and having mentors is really helpful too, to kind of find your way. But I think that's really powerful. So I appreciate that.
Definitely. I'm glad you said that too. Definitely find a mentor. That helped me out a lot at the beginning of my real estate journey as well.
Okay.
So just touching on real estate real quick. Really any business, honestly, starting out. The first year is always going to be the hardest year, because you're figuring it out still. It's like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do, what I'm doing. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to figure it out as I go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was definitely my journey into real estate, because, again, zero business background, no business degree experience, nothing like that. Started, just from like, hey, I don't know how I do this. I'm going to figure it out. So just having that drive, again, to go and kind of figure it out. Hey, talk to people.
Yeah.
Quick story.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I started out with real estate, and I'm still figuring it out, right? I got my brokerage, I got my team leader, all that good stuff. But really, honestly, with my first brokerage, with the current resources I had, I felt like it wasn't, enough at the time to what I needed to fit my need. Like, I still needed more, assistance trying to figure stuff out. I'm like, well, hey, I'm gonna just go, figure it out on my own, kind of just go from there. So the way I found my mentor. So I was actually one of my friends who's in the military. He was actually deployed overseas at the time, and he actually ended up becoming my first client. So, and I was working my whole first deal with him being overseas deployed, and I was taking care of everything else in the home front. So he was sending me a gift. I think it was for my birthday or something like that.
Yeah.
And so we were real close. I know his family, mom and dad, and they say like down the street from me. So he's like, hey, I got your thing is coming today. Just go by the house and pick it up. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm driving up there, and they had recently bought a house, his parents, and they were closing off the subdivision, building the last, couple of houses. So I stopped by the front office. I'm like, dang, I forgot which turn to make because it was like a little loop and you gotta make a right and this and the third. So I'm like, let me hit them up real quick. Let me shoot them a text. So I'm waiting for him to text me back. I'm like, okay, well, shoot, I'm sitting up here at the front office. Let me go in here and just chop it up and see if it's a sitting agent out here. I can go in here and see if they got any spots available. I can come up here and sit. It's super close, and I kind of learn, start my learning process from there. So ended up, long story short, talking to the on-site agent there, and she was giving me some advice. I was asking her like, hey, do you guys have any opportunities available for me to sit here as an agent for the subdivision? And they didn't at the time, right? Worst thing you can say is no. Cool. Keep it pushing. So long story short, we ended up, she asked me if I would like to shadow. Well, no, I asked her if I could shadow her on some of her like walkthroughs or anything like that. And she was like, yeah, we can set something up for tomorrow, set up an appointment. And she was going to be sitting at a different subdivision. I'm like, okay, cool. We can do that. Boom, boom, boom. Set it up. Met her out there, and she, took me out there, met some other agents, walked me through the process of, how to be a sitting agent and what you have to do, walking through the properties, things to look for, point out. Just gave me the step-by-steps. And that's, just off of me, just being hungry, being determined, like, hey, I'm going to go get this information, or, hey, I'm going to go figure it out, for myself.
No, so, I love that story. I love that story. A lot of gems that hopefully people picked up on. I don't even have to touch on it, man, because you mentioned it so well, man. I'm curious about upward mobility. You're basically in like 3 different careers right now at the same time. How do you approach upward mobility and promotions across all 3 phases? Do you focus on one kind of being more of your, I aspire to grow and vertically climb? Or are you like, hey, there are opportunities across all 3 areas and I'm looking to just keep rising with all 3?
So both. So there's one in particular I'm like, hey, I want to definitely rise in this. And that's, of course, real estate, being that it's my business. I want to grow my business to the point to where, I can go into that full time and just do real estate. So as far as upward mobility across the board, so of course, 9 to 5 mobility. Well, actually, no, I do that last. So real estate, I do real estate first. Upward mobility for me, I've been an agent for a little while now. Upward mobility for me will be, aside from business growth, and expansion, growing your clientele, things like that. A lot of people don't know, that have never been involved in real estate, but you can also become a broker and run your own brokerage. So the requirements for that, for the upward mobility, is that you have your license and do real estate for 2 years. So after a 2-year, time frame, you'll be eligible to go take your license, take your classes, and get your license to become a broker. Then you can kind of, run the show, run your own brokerage, and kind of go from there. So military is built-in upward mobility. So yeah, with the whole rank system, everything pretty much upward mobility is time in service, time in grade, meaning, hey, I've been in the service X amount of years. I need to be in the service for 2 years. I need to be, a private for 2 years, to get this rank, etc. So that's just across the board. If you're in the service long enough and you hold that rank for a certain amount of years and you go to a school or two, Those are pretty much just the basis of requirements to be able to move upward and get promoted.
Good to know.
Yeah, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
9
Big
to 5.
one. The
big
biggie.
one, big one. So upward mobility, I would say before I get into that, to always ask before you start a new job, or while you're doing your interview, you get your callbacks, all that good stuff. Definitely start by asking whoever is interviewing you about upward mobility. Like, hey, how does upward mobility look, in this company or in this position? Make sure that there's room for, longevity if you plan on staying there for a while, things like that. So fast forward, you're already working in a position like, hey, I want to get promoted. Always, because oftentimes you're gonna have a supervisor. It's always somebody above you, somebody above them, things like that. So I would say always ask your supervisor. For me, being that I'm government right now, I'm currently an NH03 pay grade, which is pretty much like a blend of a GS12 and GS13. Just
Ooh.
different. Just
I know
different.
about the GS system.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So what I did was I talked to my supervisor, because what we have to do is pretty much assessments, right? Which is like, hey, I did these tasks, right? This is how I completed everything, and this is the result that I got, and this is how this benefits, or relates to the company.
Yeah.
So as far as upward mobility, I just had that conversation, and that's something that you have to do just in the 9 to 5 corporate world. Just have that conversation with your supervisor. Don't be afraid to ask, like, hey, I know I'm at this level. I want to get to this level, and that goes back again to setting goals with whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Ask your supervisor, upper management, like, hey, this is where I want to be. What do I need to do to get there, right? So as long as you're doing your, work performance is good, you're getting your work done, you're not causing any trouble, any problems for anybody, stuff like that, then you're pretty much should be good to go for upward mobility. But as far as mine goes specifically, it's all performance based and availability. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's availability of a higher position. So if someone's in that role, right, but you meet the requirements, um, either if they retire or they switch over to something, you can move up like that. Or if they have the same role or position in a different, company or a different area, you can also transfer over like that. So have to be agile as well. You might
Okay.
want to get to here, right? You want to get to that next level, but there's more than one way to do it. You just have to be willing to kind of sometimes go outside your comfort zone or adjust to and adapt to whatever that requires. They might have that same position somewhere else. You might have to move, might not. It just depends on how everything is set up structure wise.
Okay. No, I love that. And I think something that is a really important call out for people as well is Vic works in the federal government for his 9 to 5. So this may be, I'm going to say USAJobs type different approach. Okay, bet. Yeah. So federal government guys, feel free to look that up to see what it's like working in private versus working in the federal government. Find the opportunities that are best for you, but just calling that out. If you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah.
So bro, now that we're getting towards the end of the convo, man, and we have another segment called 3-piece. So we from the South, bro. I'm from you from the AL, bro. So when we talk about 3 pieces, that could be 3-piece wing, 3-piece. Need that. You feel me? Whatever it is.
Wing with the Kiki Poo. Yeah.
All of it. All of it.
Ranch fries.
You feel me? Right. Oh my goodness, bro. I gotta go back to the Ville, gotta get some of that. But yeah, man, I need a 3-piece professionally from you, bro. I need 3 words that really describe your career journey thus far.
3 words, 3-piece. I'll say rigorous for sure.
Okay.
Rewarding.
Ooh.
Rewarding. And what else? I'm trying to think of the word, but valuable as far as as experience goes. I've gained a lot of experience, learned a lot. Was really able to get outside my shell, outside my comfort zone.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love that. See, I thought you was gonna go for another R, do some alliteration there.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Hey, I couldn't think of another R.
Me either.
Nah, that's crazy. Cool, man. Well, as we close, bro, do you have any other remarks or tips for people as they're looking to expand their minds and see what's out on the horizon, bro? What else you got for the people, man?
So for the people, if you're looking to expand, get into new fields, add on to what you already have going, or even if you're trying to figure it out, just again do the research, figure out the reality of what it takes to get into whatever you're trying to do, whichever endeavor. I know social media is a big thing, right? And it's a lot of like, hey, you can do this, or this is what it'll be like if you do that, and they don't explain anything in between, and it's a lot more in between. So definitely look into it, do your research, take your time doing that, figure it out, find a mentor, somebody that's already in that field that you can get good, reliable, trustworthy information from. Other than that, man, just do it. Go hard, have your own back, be your biggest supporter. Yeah. And just believe in yourself, and you can do it.
Bars. But I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper though. Nah, I really appreciate it, man. I think that is amazing advice. And man, this was an amazing pod, bro. I really appreciate you coming out, bro. And I can't let you go without you telling the people what you got going on, man, how people can connect with you, or just anything you want to promote and let the people know you got going on that they can maybe tap into.
Most definitely. So I'm pretty much on all social platforms. Facebook is my first name and last name, Victor Lightfoot. My Instagram, I'm still working on my business page, but my Instagram is Benji_4K, BENJII_4K. LinkedIn, first name, last name. That's pretty much it for right now. Still got some stuff in the works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey man, y'all stay tuned, bro. If y'all down in Georgia, if y'all in Alabama and y'all need a realtor, man, hit him up. He'll connect you to the right people, if anything going on, man. But my guy, I love you, bro. I appreciate you, fam.
For sure. Love you too, buddy.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm gonna tap in with you later.
All right, for sure.
All right, peace, brother.
Peace.
Yo, it is another pod, another episode, man. This is amazing. Brought another good brother to y'all to hear his experiences. Dude got a lot going on. Couldn't be me. But really proud of him. Really hope you guys are able to gather some gems. Feel free to reach out if you feel inspired or you have any questions you want to talk to him about how he's managing all those things. And stay tuned. There's a lot in the future in store for him. So again, I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, click the notification button on YouTube to get the new episodes and everything, and hit us up on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. And I appreciate y'all tuning in as always. So same thing I always leave you guys with. Stay happy, stay blessed.